What's up guys, James here from ShockerRacing, and today I am back in the Wrangler 392. I am heading over to my office in order to try to flex out the Jeep Wrangler 392 on 37. What we did was we ended up mounting the Nitto Ridge Grappler 37-inch tires on the stock factory 17 by 7.5 inch tires on the Wrangler 392. Now we've had these tires on for a few weeks now. Still haven't put a ton of miles on. We're at about 711 total on the 392. So haven't done a ton of driving, but we've done enough to get a feel for these 37-inch Nitto tires. And so far we're very happy with them. A couple things we were obviously worried about was, were they gonna rub anything? How was it gonna change the ride quality? And is it going to be a problem when we do eventually get this thing off-road and try to flex and have some rubbing issues? And then the fourth thing that I should mention we were concerned about is, how was it going to affect the acceleration and the performance? Was it going to hurt the feel of the Wrangler 392 for normal street driving, or when you want to get on it and give it a little punch? So we had already even been checking in to go into a 410 gears instead of the factory 373s, just in case once we did these we didn't like the feel. But so far I gotta say, as far as gearing goes, there's no need to re-gear to 410s or even a higher gear. The 373s with this 392 motor are plenty happy, plenty spunky. You're not gonna have any problems with acceleration, or especially off-roading, rock climbing and stuff like that. You got plenty of motor to and torque, I should say, to handle that. So the big questions today that we're going to try to answer and show you guys is, how does it look? Because it does look amazing. Just check the clearances and the fit. Again, this is a brand new 700-mile Jeep Wrangler 392, no lift, factory wheels, which are the 17 by 7.5 inch wheel, and showing you guys the 37-inch Nittos on a fully stock factory setup. So stay tuned. All right, here she is, boys and girls, the stock height, stock wheel Wrangler 392 on 37-inch Nitto Ridge Grappler tires. And I gotta say, it is a killer stance. It looks so good. But before we get into the details and checking some things, I did want to go over what we have done to the 392 so far. Again, no lift, didn't change the tires, nothing like that, but I'm gonna just go over a few things. So far what we've done, we removed the end caps from the factory steel bumper. I just think it gives it a cool look. I always like the stubby bumper look on these. Besides that, we haven't done a whole lot. We did change out the side markers to the Diode Dynamics tinted side markers. They also have those in clear, but I thought the smoked or tinted would look great on the granite silver. Going around, one of the only other things we did was we tinted the front windows to match the rears so that it all looks uniform and good. Inside, so far, all we've done is we went with the Bullet Point Mounting Solutions phone holder. And otherwise, we got some alien sunshade grab handles. Pretty simple, basic stuff. So nothing else inside. But yeah, just wanted to show you a couple of the things we've done so far. And we've got some big things coming soon. So let's get into these tires here, okay? So what these are the Nitto Ridge Grappler 37 by 12.5 17s. What we did was we ordered these through Discount Tire because we found the best price we could online. We gave a call over to Discount Tire. They price matched it, got us a great price, and they were able to get them for us in just a couple of days. Now, where we did have an issue, we dropped it off over to them for them to mount them and balance them. And we got a call from Discount Tire about 2 hours later for them telling us that they couldn't mount these tires on these wheels because they are beadlock wheels. Even though when we dropped it off, we explained to them that it's a beadlock capable wheel. This is basically just a beauty ring on here that literally doesn't hold the wheel on, or doesn't hold the tire to the rim. It's not an actual beadlock, it's just a beauty ring. And if you wanted to make these actual beadlocks, you got to buy a different ring. So they give us a call about 2 hours later telling us that they can't mount them because these are bead locks and they can't break the bead. So long story short, I go over there and basically had to take these off using the toolkit that Jeep supplied, which, let me tell you, there's a lot of bolts here on a lot of wheels. And I basically, using a little ratchet and the Torx bit, took off a beauty ring to prove to them that it's not a bead lock, showed them how it works, and then and only then would they mount the tires on there. So a little bit of a hassle. But I did it all 5 of them manually by undoing those bolts, and then they mounted them up, got them mounted, balanced, and I then had to put the rings back on myself. So I guess pro tip, if you're gonna use Discount Tire, you might want to just take those rings off before you drop off your wheels at Discount Tire to have them mounted and balanced so that you don't have the same issue that I ran into. After that, they got them mounted and balanced nicely. They've been great for balance. You know, the balance has been great. Haven't had any shakes or shimmering or anything like that on the road, so it's been good. Now, I've enjoyed driving it. I haven't noticed any loss of power. The only thing that we could pick so far is that on super tight turns, you will get a little bit of rubbing. And you may have noticed when I was backing out from the house in the beginning of the video, I backed out, I actually purposely cut it pretty tight, and I didn't notice any rubbing backing out of the driveway and cutting it tight. So it seems to only be on tight turns when I'm going forward that it's actually rubbing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to pinpoint that today and figure out where the actual rubbing is occurring, and just try to get an idea of what's actually hitting and rubbing. I do know on my Gladiator, I do rub on the lower control arm in the rear, and that's with a 4.5 inch lift and 40s. So I'm wondering if that's where I'm hitting, but I'm gonna try to set up the GoPro under there, kind of turn the wheel back and forth and see if we can see where the issue is occurring. Okay, so on tight turns, it is definitely hitting on the lower control arms. I can actually see the mark here on the driver's side where it's rubbing. So that's going to be your issue if you're concerned with tight turns. And again, it's only on super tight turns does it rub or will be an issue. So for me, it's not a problem. I get used to driving like that. I've done it for the Gladiator for about 2 years now. You just try to avoid those super tight turns. Okay, so next I want to test the flex, and what I'm hoping to do is be able to use this drop off into this retention pond here I've got, just to see how it flexes and if I get any rubbing anywhere, or if I'm gonna, you know, have clearance issues with the inner fender liners or the fenders. So I'm gonna set up the camera, I'm gonna try to drive in, see if I hear any rubbing or anything like that, and then I'm gonna do it trying to flex it out coming back up, and hopefully this gives me a good indication of whether I'm gonna have clearance issues or not. So let's give this a try. Now I should say this is gonna be with the sway bars disconnected to hopefully let it fully flex. Okay, so baby flex so far. You can see it's kind of stuffed up in here a little bit. So far, it looks like I got plenty of room. On this side, maybe I need to try to get a little further over so that that tire actually drops down into that hole. And then you can see the back end is just kind of tucked a little bit, and not quite enough. I'm going to try and get over just a little more here. Okay, now it seems to be a little bit more tucked. And you can see in the rear here, yeah, the rear is definitely hitting. I thought I was hearing some rubbing or feeling some rubbing. That's definitely hitting up in the fender liner. But in the front here, still very good. A lot seems to have plenty of clearance here, at least at this angle. Okay, so here's the results. Basically, if you are just looking to drive your 392 on the street, if you don't plan to get it off-road, 37s on the stock wheels, stock height's gonna be just fine for everyday driving. Like I said, you're gonna have a little bit of rubbing on tight turns, unless you do a spacer. Space it out a little bit, I think you'll be fine. But when you get into actually trying to flex this thing out and get it on some rocks or get it off-road, you're probably gonna have some troubles with the inner wheel liner on the rear fenders. So keep that in mind. I don't know that a spacer is gonna fix that on these, in the rear at least. But this is why we are leading up to our next video. The next thing we should have coming is we've got a Clayton off-road lift kit for the 392. I've got it already. It's in my office. We're going to be getting it installed hopefully this week. We're not going very big, just a little bit higher. Hopefully that'll help us with that little bit of flex in the back. It is their overland kit, so it should have nice ride quality, but you're going to have to stay tuned to see what size we are actually going with. So make sure you stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, and check us out for the upcoming video on that. All right, now one other important thing I want to point out about going to the 37-inch tires is that they are not going to fit on the factory tire carrier. So you are going to need some sort of an adapter. They sell different spacers and mounts for to replace just the carrier in order to reposition it higher in order to get your 37 on there. Now I chose to go with the Rusty's spare tire carrier, which is going to completely replace the hinges, and it's a complete heavy-duty tire carrier that I know is rated for up to a 40-inch tire. That's what we run on the Mojito Jeep, and it's been an excellent tire carrier. Now the only problem is I ordered mine 5 weeks ago and it still has not shipped. I keep asking them, and their response is that it said on the website it would be 4 to 5 weeks. It's now been 5 weeks and still no information on it. And I honestly don't recall seeing anything on their website about it being 4 to 5 weeks. When I ordered, I thought it was in stock, so I've been pretty disappointed to be driving around, you know, without the spare on here, because I think this looks stupid. But hopefully that'll show up quick. And I've actually got a video on the install of that coming up pretty quick, because we still haven't uploaded it from the Mojito Jeep install, which we did months ago. So hopefully that'll be up here soon, so you can see how that all goes and how it fits and how nicely it works. So stay tuned for that. And just know that if you go to 37s, you're going to need some sort of upgrade to your tire carrier mount in order to be able to run the 37-inch spare. Okay, so don't forget about that. So that's going to wrap up this video on the 37s on the stock 392 Wrangler. I hope that this helps give you some insight or helps you make your decision whether you decide to go with just 35s because you don't want any rubbing, or, you know, just help you make your decision on what size tire to go with. I know we got a lot of great feedback from our previous video where we compared the 35s, the 37s, and the 40s. So I hope this takes it one step further now that we decided to go with the 37s. And again, stay tuned to see what we do with the Clayton off-road lift kit coming soon. Again, we're not going very big, but a little bit of a lift. And I did want to, that's one thing I want to clarify, because I have learned this recently, is that the Wrangler 392 technically does not have a lift kit. A lot of people were calling it a 2-inch lift. That's what I thought it was. But apparently it's literally just bigger springs or taller springs, so it's not an actual lift kit, which is why we wanted to go with something like this Clayton lift kit we're getting, or going to be installing, because it does actually have the adjustable control arms, and it's a complete kit that's designed to work properly for your vehicle. So definitely check out Clayton, and stay tuned to see what we're going to be doing with that. We're always appreciative of all of our supporters and subscribers, so if you have not, make sure you subscribe to our channel, give this video a big thumbs up, and comment below if there's anything else you want to see, anything else you'd like to know about the 392, the wheels, the tires, anything 392 related, and hopefully we can get you a video about that soon.